Good day, everyone. This is a summary or a review which serve as an additional information for you for our lesson 1 and lesson 2 in our module 1. For I already shared a video in our group page explaining the uniqueness of the planet Earth, right? So I hope that you have watched the video. So to proceed again, this discussion involves the lesson 1, which is about Earth as a unique planet, and the lesson 2 of our module 1, which is about the Earth for subsystems. So the lesson 3 of the module 1, I will be making another PowerPoint presentation of discussion like this. So to proceed, we have here an illustration or a picture of the solar system, right? So as you can see here, we have the 8 planets and we have the sun. Now, before we will be elaborating the uniqueness of our planet, let's do some throwback first on the origin of these objects or these planets and the sun, as well as the origin of the universe as a whole. Now, if we talk about the origin of the universe, the most acceptable theory is we have the Big Bang theory, right? So I know that almost or all of you knows already the Big Bang theory, right? Now, just to do again a throwback of that, the Big Bang theory explains that 13.7 billion years ago, the universe started as a small volume wherein it explode because of the pressure or an energy. So, explode to siya tong small volume. And then after that, it expands rapidly. Paspas kayo iyahang pag-expand. And as it expands, it forms clumps. Pag expand niya nga form na mga nangatipok, remnants of those explosion that cools down and then forming the particles such as the protons, electrons, and neutrons. And we know that katong nga tulo nga particles mao to yung nag-compose sa atom, right? And therefore, we know also that we are composed of atoms. Now, in continuation on the origin of the solar system, we can connect it to the Big Bang theory, di ba? Because there is an explosion. But it is stated in, again, another theory which we called as the solar nebula theory. Now, ang solar nebula theory, sumpay ra gihapon siya dito sa Big Bang theory because accordingly, a gas clouds or a giant gas cloud nag-collapse or nibutupod because again of the pressure. So pagbuto niya, it spins rapidly. So gatuyok tong kuan gas giant nga nibuto, and then katong iyahang mga debris or iyahang mga remnants kay nag-form na pod og clumps. Okay, so katong ang mga clumps, mao dayon to dayon ang mga nanga-form nga mga planets, asteroids, and other celestial objects nga naa sa atoang solar system or in the universe as a whole. So that is the origin of the universe and our solar system. Now let us proceed on how unique our planet is. So given this illustration or picture, in terms of the location of the Earth, dili siya too near or duol kaayo sa tuang sun, dili pud kay siya layo sa tuang sun. That is why it can sustain life, right? So, if lantaw nato again, ikatulo siya into order from the sun. And then in terms of the size, it is not too big. The same with the Jupiter, kay kung dako kayo siya, pareha sa Jupiter, dili siya ka-sustain og atmosphere, wherein dili ta ka-survive without an atmosphere. Because kung dako man gud kaayo siya, dako pod iyahang energy or gravity, so pressure. If it is too small, like that of the Mercury, kung gamay po kaayo siya, dili po siya ka-sustain og an atmosphere, which again, does not enables us to survive or dili ta ka-survive. So murag iyahang kuan is tama-tama lang iyahang size for us to survive or sustain life. And in terms of mass, accordingly, the mass of the Earth is 5.972 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms. So that is the mass of the Earth. And the Earth, among these inner planets, because kani silang upat nga near mas duol to the sun are what we called as the inner planets or terrestrial planets. Terrestrial in a way nga ilahang surface or structures kay somewhat rocky or solid. While these four, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are bigger in size. They are called as outer planets or Jovian planets because they are made up of mostly gases and ice. Now, this among the inner planets, the Earth has a moon or a natural satellite which is Luna. So, isa ra ang satellite sa Earth, which is one. Venus and Mercury, wala sila'y moon. Si Mars, duha. And the rest of these outer planets, they have multiple moons. Daghan kayo silang mga moons. Now, proceed ta with the Earth's atmosphere, since naaman siya atmosphere. Now, the Earth's atmosphere composes of gases, right? Now, if we talk about the survival or life nato diri sa Earth, we can give it, we can say that we survive or we can survive in Earth because of the supply of oxygen, right? But in terms of the percentage of the oxygen in the atmosphere, it is only to 21%. The 78% kay nitrogen, and the other percentage is for other gases. The atmosphere is divided into layers, as you can see here. Again, this is explained into sa video nga akong gipalantaw sa inyo ha. So just again a recap. So the first layer is we have the troposphere, so where the weather happens. And then we have the stratosphere. So I am just giving you important kaan of the layer. Stratosphere, where the ozone layer is located. So we know that the ozone layer is the one that serves as a blanket that protects us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun, right? Next to that is we have the mesosphere. So the mesosphere, usually, dira ma-burn or makalusot ang mga meteors meteors are cosmic debris that gikan sa outer space. But sometimes meteors survive landing in our Earth's surface. Next to that is we have the thermosphere. And then after the thermosphere, the outermost layer is we have the exosphere, which is part na siya sa outer space. Next to that, we have this phenomenon that happens in the Earth, what we called as magnetic field. So this phenomenon happens when the inner core or one of the layer of the Earth, we know that the Earth is divided into layers. So we will elaborate that later. So ang inner core or the pinaka innermost layer sa Earth is solid because compressed man gud na siya due to the gravity or energy niya. So pag mo rotate ang or mo spin ang Earth ato ang planet, for example this one, so pag mo rotate na siya, ang liquid nga flow of the liquid will produce electric current. So mo-produce siya electric current or energy. So pag produce niya og electric current, thereby makaproduce dayon siya og what we called as magnetic field. So as you can see kana iyahang ikuan produce a magnetic field which extends to the outer space, and this magnetic field protects us from mga energy coming from the sun or harmful charged particles coming from the sun like the solar winds and other space weather. So again, that is what we called magnetic field. Now, in relation to the layers, the Earth also composes of the crust layer, mantle, and also we have the outer core. So we have already discussed about the inner core. Now, again, the layers of the Earth, the outermost layer is we have the crust. So siya pod ang pinakanipis. So you can see here, kana ra nga part, kani ang iyahang thickness. Ang crust, divided siya into two. Continental crust, kaning land, part nga land. And katong bodies of water niya, that is what we called oceanic crust. Next to that, the largest layer of the earth is we have the mantle. Now, si mantle is divided into the upper mantle and the lower mantle. So, ang iyahang upper mantle, naa siya'y region, upper region niya, nga gitawag nato og asthenosphere o lithosphere. Next to that, the outer core, which is liquid, and then the innermost, which is the inner core, which is again solid. And again, solid siya because compressed man gud siya because of the gravity or the energy. And take note, again, this inner core, pag muspin ang earth, mutuyok ang earth, kay makaproduce siya og electric current producing the magnetic field. Wherein, the magnetic field, again, protect us or the planet from harmful electric or charges or electric charge from the sun and other space weather. Next, let's proceed with the lesson 2, which is about the Earth's subsystem. But first, let us define what is a system. Now, when we talk about a system, it is an entity that consists of interrelated parts or components. System, or for example, Mindanao State University system. So, ang Mindanao State University system, it refers to the different campuses, which includes us, MSU Marawi, MSU IIT, MSU Naawan, MSU Buog, and so on. So therefore, pag mingon tag system, na siya mga parts or components interrelated. So kato iyahang mga parts, gitawag nato og subsystem. Subsystem is defined as a small system contained in bigger or broader one. So i-relate nato na siya sa Earth. So the Earth can be called as the Earth system. So the Earth system relies on the interaction among the vast combination of factors that enable it to support life. So si Earth man gud as a system or total sa tanan, so nag-rely siya sa interactions among mga factors nga naa sa iyaha para makasustain or makasupport siya og life. So one of the factors that interacts the Earth para makasupport siya og life is what we call the Earth's subsystem. So it is divided into four. So we have here geosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and we have the biosphere. So let's start with the first one, geosphere. And if you're going to look at in these pictures, you can say that mostly landforms, mountains, volcanoes, rocks, minerals, soils. So those are what we called as geosphere subsystem of the Earth. So mostly the one that we are the part or the crust nga naata can be an example of a geosphere. Now, aside from the geosphere, we also have the atmosphere. So you have already discussed this one by its layers. But this atmosphere, so we have the clouds, the sky. So this serve as a gaseous blanket of the air that envelopes, shields, and insulates the earth, or it protects us against the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So kibali mo siya cover or protection sa to ang planet para dili tama to prevent from the harmful UV rays coming from the sun. So that is the atmosphere. Next, we have hydrosphere. So from the pictures, we have lakes, rivers, ocean, seas, and then we have waterfalls and others, or all the bodies of water includes the hydrosphere subsystem of the Earth. And then lastly, we have the biosphere. So if we have landforms or the land, we also have the atmosphere, the gases, we also have the hydrosphere or the water, we also have the biosphere because again, Earth can sustain life or it is the only planet in the solar system that can sustain life. So therefore, there are living things or organisms living in our planet, right? That is why biosphere is one of the subsystem. So biosphere includes animals, which example this monkey and also this baby or kita, we are animals, right? The plants, and then other microorganisms such as bacteria and other microorganisms. So again, those are the subsystems of the Earth. Now, again, these subsystems of the Earth should interact each other to sustain a life. So, dili pwede nga walay interaction. Dili pwede nga, again, if one of these subsystems kay dili mo function or na ay defect, na ay kuan, it can affect other subsystem or uh, the part of the earth that can sustain life. So we will be discussing the third one or the lesson 3 in another PowerPoint presentation. So I hope you have understood the how unique our planet, its characteristics. So as we will go on our discussion for the remaining modules on Earth and Earth science, we will be elaborating more about the characteristics of our planet. So this ends the discussion. If you have again questions and further clarifications, just message it in our group chat. So please, again, reminders, just be updated on our Google Classroom and in our group page for announcements and posting of materials and for assessments. So I thank you, and then I will just leave you a quote here for you to be motivated. So as stated here, you can't always have a good day, but you can always face a bad day with a good attitude. So positive vibes only. Thank you once again. Have a good day.